Alright guys, this is a long interview. It's really interesting. This woman interviewing her has this very non-threatening vibe, like she's not big competition for Meghan. So it's a really interesting dynamic. Let's check it right out.
But at some point you have to be like, dude,
like we can talk about what exists. Yeah, I mean, I'm sensitive to it because we have so many global followers of the show who aren't able to see it as quickly. But I will say yes. I mean, obviously season 5 ended with a pretty turbulent, not cliffhanger, but a really finite ending. And so I think for a lot of...
Just the first thing, there was something actually really interesting, and this is going to totally tie back to Meghan, I promise, that I read, that there are with different languages, people speak at different speeds, but there was this linguistic study and a similar amount of information was being conveyed. It was just like a certain amount of syllables would convey a certain amount of information, right? And the reason I mention that is I just realized Meghan uses so many words, so many syllables, while conveying so little information. And that's, I believe, the very simple, she loves hearing herself talk. She loves talking and people looking at her. Because what information was conveyed in that, like, 6 or 8 sentences? Like, what? There's an international audience? Like, it's like a half sentence worth of information.
Was what happens now? Where do we go from there in season 6? Especially because, is there going to be a time jump? Are we going to start off somewhere else? No, it's starting in real time. We are starting right after we left off.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
The show returns this summer, by the way.
Yes, it comes back in June. So we start going back to filming April 4th. So we are...
Again, I say this is an interesting dynamic here, because the other woman interviewing her, I believe, is just like a non-threat. She doesn't seem like she's a strong personality. She doesn't, you know, a lot of things like that. So I think Meghan is just kind of totally in control here, right? I think one of you might have compared her to, that was a good example, like there's a college student who's joining every club and trying to be friends with everybody. I'm not trying to criticize her. She seems nice, but just like a non-threatening person who really wants to be liked and accepted, so it's easy to be in control of that conversation.
It's been a while. We've been on hiatus for a couple months.
Yeah, it must be so hard going to work with those 2 ugly, ugly dudes.
It's a tough job.
I hope you demand a raise every year.
Look, I mean, I think with any job, if you're working with the same people that closely for now 5 years of your life, yes, of course we're a family.
Boring.
We've grown up together. The people that I'm closest with on the show, though, are Rick and Sarah, who played Donna and Lewis. Those are my buddies. Rick and I always go and get foot massages together. It's our own off-camera version of mudding, I guess. Yeah, so I'm excited to see everybody again.
Oh my God.
I do find this so interesting as a contrast, because when Meghan is not the absolute center of attention, she deflates so quickly. It's just such an extreme. Like if you see any of those like Meghan mask slip videos, or a lot of videos I have where she's putting herself in the center of a conversation, like in an inappropriate way, like standing in the middle of a circle of people, you'll see if she's on the periphery for a millisecond, she's like tense, she's angry. But now when she's in total control, she's totally confident. So it's very extreme. It's like she needs no competition and only being listened to her, and then she gets really inflated. And I think a lot of people have that, where they have these extreme highs and lows. That's people to compare themselves to others all the time. It's like they either feel like I'm better than everybody, or I'm not living up to other people. I'm not matching up. So I think that's a big part.